So welcome back, you guys. I have a phenomenal guest for us today. I've got my good friend who is a dominant top real estate agent in the Vancouver market. With me today, I've got my good friend, John Sy. John, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I know you came on my show a couple of weeks ago and just blew everyone away. So I'm hoping to bring the same value to your audience as well. So thank you.
Absolutely. Been a big supporter of your work for a long time. I think people are going to learn more about who you are, the work ethic you bring, the discipline you bring, the kind of guy you are. So I want to tell your story, John, of how you've really gotten into real estate, how you've built your career, the ups and downs, because there was a story how I found you. There was a time where I think you wanted to get out of real estate, and then you pushed through that, and you have a phenomenal business, phenomenal life today. And it's all been a byproduct of, I think, the things that we're going to talk about today. So you're in Vancouver. How long have you been in real estate?
Since 2006. So 15 years, going on my 16th year this year. And just grinding through.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of grind. You and I talk about that a lot. How many deals will your group do this year, or what is the goal?
This year, the goal would be 150 closed. So we'll probably hit like 175 closed and pending.
Love it.
And this will be the first time we'll hit over 2 million GCI.
Love it.
So that's something to celebrate for sure.
Yeah, good for you. And how much did you guys do in 2020? What did you guys end up with last year?
2020, we ended up with 113 closed and 132 closed and pending. Closed commission GCI was 1.46.
Yeah, love it. And John, if you guys haven't noticed, knows his numbers. That's that little analytical side of him coming out. Did you guys do one of your great annual client appreciation parties? Were you guys able to do that last year or through?
I wasn't able to in January. So usually we have it in January. So January 2020, we did one, and then we got shut down, of course.
Yeah.
And then 2021, we couldn't do it, but it'll come back.
Yeah, you throw great events. You guys, we'll link up all John's stuff beneath this video, so you can go follow him on YouTube and Instagram. He throws an epic annual client appreciation event every year, and it's a great event. So let's start at the beginning. Let's go back to 2006. How did you end up getting started in the business? What drew you to get into real estate sales?
Actually, the end goal was to be free. Meaning that I could do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whomever I want, right? Work really hard to become lazy.
Yeah, right.
I was at the end of my university career, and I was at a loss, right? Because I was graduating with a psychology degree. I didn't know what to do. And then I ran into this gentleman in Taiwan while I was on vacation there, and he was 42 years old and he was retired. And I was like, wow, you're at the gym almost like 3 hours a day. What do you do for work? He's like, well, I'm retired. I built up a language school. I sold that, and then I have passive income from that. And then I bought a lot of real estate with the income that I had, and enough passive income that I can retire altogether. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And you're only 42 years old. Coincidentally, I'm 41. So I said, what would you recommend me to read or do? He said, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Go and read that book. You'll get some insight from that. So I read the book. Nothing made sense to me except for the real estate part. Yeah. I knew that if I wanted to get out of the rat race, I needed to purchase enough rental real estate so that the income would sustain my lifestyle, so much so that I could be free. So I said, okay, well, I got that. And how would I do that? If I wanted to learn about rental real estate, I might as well go sell some, right? So then I got my license about 4 years after. So I procrastinated for 4 years, travel, party, whatever. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Teenagers or
young adult.
At that point, 20 something. So that's how I got started. And fast forward 15 years, here I am.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's awesome, man. That's kind of similar how I got it. I mean, my first exposure too was Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki,
Yeah.
same kind of thing. So, all right, beautiful. So you get in the business 2006. What were the first couple of years like? Did you come out and you just started making millions and millions and millions of dollars? Is that how it worked, or did you struggle for a bit? Tell us about that.
Oh, it was tough, man. In my first 6 months, I did 2 transactions, in which case was a whopping $2,500 in GCI.
Wow.
And I said, okay, well, this is how it's going to be. And I was in debt, and I was told that being in debt in real estate was normal as well. So I said, okay, I'm right on track.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
they always said, have 6 months of reserves if you don't make a sale. I said, oh, I'm right on track on that as well. But I've ran out.
yeah,
I've run out in my first 6 months.
yeah.
And then my first full year, which is 2007, I did 17 transactions just by being a nice guy. And, I was one of the first ones out of my friends, and people were buying, 27 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I made a lot of commissions, so 104,000. But then the thing is, half of that commission was from pre-construction. Pre-construction, I don't know if you know, you sign a contract today, you make the sale, but it does not pay you until 2 years later.
Wow.
So I signed the contract in 2007, made the GCI, but it was pending until 2 years later, but I spent the money.
Of course. Yeah.
I went out and got a new X5.
Sure.
Right. And I bought my back then girlfriend purses, whatever have you.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went into about $60,000 worth of debt. And then I decided to get engaged. So I went and got another loan for $20,000. And I bought her a ring. And I'm now in $80,000 in debt.
Wow. Crazy. Sounds,
That's
yeah. It sounds like you're a real estate agent.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So and then what happened, 2008. I don't know if you guys had probably crashed a little bit earlier than that, but 2008 was when it really hit Vancouver and Canada in general. And I had nowhere to go. I was at $90,000 in debt, and my broker was like, man, John, you got to check this out. Mike Ferry. I said, who's Mike Ferry? Right. And he gave me some tapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, lo and behold, I find out from the grapevine that he's in Newport Beach doing a sales talk workshop. And I said, what have I got to lose? And worst case scenario, I get to have fun in LA. So I went, and then I signed up. On the third day of the sales talk workshop. You know how it is. Mike just, magically gets you to go back, to go to the back and sign up,
put it on your credit card, put it on more money you don't have.
Yeah. And that was the only way I could survive, because I knew that if I didn't sign up, I would go deeper into the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow, what a great story. I mean, thank you for being vulnerable. And I think a lot of people watching will resonate with that a lot, to say, wow, John's being very real. I mean, all of this is what you had to go through to get to where you were today. So you get into Mike Ferry coaching. And this is like your rise to what I call it. Like you really, really grew a nice listing based business. I want to walk people through that journey. Before you started a team, you were focused on personal production, and you did a hell of a job, man. A guy with discipline. You were doing 50 contacts a day. I don't know for how long. Let's walk the audience through that journey. So you get started in coaching. Let's start there.
Get started in coaching. I did not do a deal for 6 months.
Another 6 months.
Another 6 months. So
Yeah.
I was right there and then about $90,000 in debt. And then I started to cold call, just listed, just sold, for sale by owner, expireds. And guess what? I did not take an expired listing from cold calling until 1 year later in coaching.
Wow.
Until 1 year later in coaching. But the funny thing was, after not having done a deal 6 months in coaching, I did in the next 9 months, 33 transactions. But it was the accountability, it was the skill development, and it was mindset that got me through. Although I had no success in expires, because Mike Ferry is all about expires, FSBOs, and then I was like, I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep going. So when I took my first expired listing, my confidence started to really go up. So I went from 33 to 39 the next year, and then, hovered in the 40s and then 50s. And then I jumped to 85 in 2015, and then all of a sudden 149 in 2016. But I was capped.
Yeah. You were burnt out. You were working. So let's talk about that. I think, well, what kind of income was that representing at the time in Vancouver? Because you're selling high valued properties, right? 150 transactions represented how much in income?
Well, back then my commissions were low. So
Sure.
it was about
Okay.
$7,000 per transaction. So I just hit over $1 million. That was the first time we hit over $1 million GCI.
Okay.
So just back up a bit. 2009, I started with 11 contacts a day.
Okay.
And then I went to 15 in 2010, and 2011 went back to 11 contacts. 2012, I met this great agent out of Arizona, Monique. She's like, you got to get Mojo.
Yeah.
And so I went and got Mojo. So I went up to 30 contacts a day.
Yeah.
And then I started, that 2012 is when I hired our first assistant as well. So I could delegate some of the stuff now.
Yeah.
And then I went from 30 contacts to 40 contacts to then 50 contacts in 2015. And it did not stop the 50 contacts for 4 years.
Wow. Good for you. So when you hired assistant, how many deals were you doing, John, before you hired your first assistant?
I did 51 deals before we hired Renee. And then I went backwards a little bit to 45 because there was a little bit of a transition period.
Slingshot effect.
Yeah. But then I made the same amount of income, so I wasn't super mad about that.
Yeah.
And in the next full year, we went up to from 45 to 59 transactions.
Yeah.
Right. So then I started to leverage a little bit more from that, but I was still very listing based, very ego based, just me, just me, just me. And then I take all the listings, I take all the buyers, and which had me like literally burn out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a whole podcast interview in itself of like when to hire an assistant, the fact on why you took a step back, because I call it the rubber band effect. You had to take a step back, train the assistant before you reap the benefit of assistant. That took a year. Most people don't understand that. They want to hire an assistant and then get the benefit right away. That doesn't happen that way. So I don't know exactly what year it was, but there was a time, I think, and I don't know exactly what time it was, you were doing well. You were succeeding in real estate sales where I think you thought about leaving the business. Was that right?
Yeah, I thought about, well, somebody asked me this a couple of days ago when I asked a question. I said, ask me a question on IG, but literally, Brandon, a couple times a year, I would want to quit.
So I want to talk about that because I think that is normal. And most people have the same feelings. They're just scared to talk about it. That's why I love John Sai so much, because you're not scared to be vulnerable and be real with people. So walk us through the mindset, what was going on at the time.
Man, it was just so hard, right?
Yeah.
You make a sale and it was just a tough go with the seller.
Yeah.
You finally get it done. And then the next one comes, a breakdown after breakdown, but then you have this breakthrough and then you hit your goals, right? At the end of the year, you're like, man, I hit, guess what? 149 deals. Guess what, guys? January 1st. Where do we start?
Zero.
Right at zero. Honest to God, January 1st, 2017, I was like, I'm ready to quit.
Yeah.
I am ready to quit because I didn't know if I could do 149 transactions a year again. And because I was so capped, I was a single agent. And obviously I had a couple agents doing showings for us. We don't have lock boxes here in Vancouver.
Sure.
And yeah, I really wanted to quit. And then it was a tough beginning to 2017. Then the market started to pick up. Then it was a little bit easier. Then I started to really hire agents. That's when life got a little bit better. But I would say, man, from 2008, I wanted to quit because I was $80,000 in debt. I didn't know how to make a sale.
Yeah.
And then each and every year I had points where I would do no transactions for that month. I'm like, okay, my career is over.
Yeah.
And literally, Brandon, last year when the pandemic hit, we went from 20 deals in March 2020 to 2 transactions in April 2020.
Wow.
Said, okay, my career is over. We did 3 transactions in May 2020. I said, wife, let's sell everything and we might have to pack it up. Pack it in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man.
I know. That's what's so hard about this business, is like the highs are high and the lows are low. And it's just a funny way. And that's why I think the consistency of what we do is so important, because the second you find yourself in complacency is the very moment where things just disappear. I mean, like overnight disappear.
Yeah.
Wow, what an amazing story. And you can just keep pushing through. I mean, that's the key thing. Your mindset is very strong. Talk about that.
Actually, my mindset is very wonky from the very start. That's why I knew that I could take action no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter how my mindset was up or down, I knew that if I stay consistent, that I could grind it through. Because I knew 2008, I'm like, well, if I didn't make a sale in 6 months and I got through that, I can get through anything.
Yeah.
So I just kept taking actions. Even guys through April 2020 and May 2020, guess what? I talked to 100 people a day in April.
Wow.
And I was like, although my mindset was let's pack it in, but I'm like, wait a minute. I got 6 other team members that, still need to survive from this business. So I said, well, I can't quit. I wanted to.
Right.
I said, let's pack it in, but then wait a minute. Right. So then I got back into action, and I knew that if I just kept taking action, something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it did.
And that's the best mindset. Anytime I think someone's feeling doubt or concern, get lost in the action, and through the action always comes results. I think if you find yourself in doubt and saying, damn, I don't know if I can do this, and you don't take action, it will manifest into failure. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And people always ask me how to get over doubt, anxiety, and fear.
Yes.
I said, you know what, you just got to go and take actions. Get so busy in your schedule that you have no time to doubt yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
So I want to talk about some lead generation. And I mean, agents love when we talk about lead generation, right? So in Canada, it's like a mystery of like what you can do, what you can't do. So you were calling expireds, FSBOs, but I don't think you could do that anymore. Is that right or wrong? Like, let's hear it from John's side, the man.
Expireds, FSBOs are allowed to be called in Canada.
Okay.
Where we're allowed to call expireds, especially.
Okay.
But the rest of Canada, almost every province except for BC and Montreal, we're allowed to call expireds. But then because of that restriction, the privacy laws, the companies that furnish us with the leads are not able to furnish us with the expired leads. In which case, how I started my career in expires is I would look on the MLS and I would go to 411.ca, whitepages.ca, and reverse search.
Got it.
I would reverse search myself, and then I would call, nobody pick up, but then I would put the name in my binder. I had a binder, paper binder. Yeah. And
Me
then
too.
I would do that for years on end.
So, but in Ontario, you can't call expireds. Is that
no? No.
Yeah. You can call for sale by owners, just not expireds.
Yes.
But you can knock doors there, yeah?
You can knock on the door with the expired. You can even call them, in which case the Toronto agents do.
Yes.
But you can't say that, hey, I noticed your listing expired. It's more like, hey, I got this listing around the corner here, just wondering when you plan on moving.
So it's a circle prospecting script with a targeted list.
Correct.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good. It's just interesting how that whole process works in Canada. All right, so let's fast forward. So you pushed through all of that. At the beginning of the show, you had this vision of creating this lifestyle, like the guy at the gym, right? 42 years old, and he's passive income. Well, you built a big business, but you were like a slave to the business. You were making $1 million a year, but you were a slave to the business. So you had a big income, which allowed you to buy things and do that. But it's like, it was kind of unfulfilling. And so you had to make a decision. And I think that's kind of where maybe, I don't want to put words in your mouth, where you decided to partner with EXP. Is that correct?
Yes. I was presented with this opportunity where it could create freedom and a little bit more leverage. And I was already going to start a brokerage, a franchise with RE/MAX anyway. So I said, well, what do I want with RE/MAX? Number one is build equity if I were to sell the brokerage.
Yep.
10 to 15 years down the road, I have money back. And then number two is if, because we're coaches, right?
That's right.
And I was a coach for Mike for 4 years, so I can bring my skills there. And number three was lead gen. I got introduced to lead gen in 2018. I said, wow, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So Remax was going to give us all that. But it had to cost $500,000 to start up. Now EXP was going to give us all that for $199 startup cost.
Yeah.
So I said that's impossible, but I started interviewing people at the company and I just decided to make a plunge and, never look back since. So we have a better life now because of that.
Yeah. What year was that?
2019.
Got it.
January 1st, I started with EXP, but I had been introduced to it August of 2018.
Got it. Okay. So now you're growing opportunities at EXP and you have a sales team, which has leverage in your life. You said it provides you a better life. I want to unpack that a little bit. So let's talk about your personal sales team for a second. So how is it structured? How do you guys generate business? What is your role in the team? Are you still in personal production? Let's talk about those.
It's never perfect. I'm still struggling through it, however you want to look at it.
Sure.
If I had to, it was like a revolving door for a couple of years. Now we're starting to really build a culture. And I'm still a listing agent. I still go on about, I would say 2 listing appointments per month.
Okay.
Physically. And then the rest of the team, majority of them will be doing buyers, except for 2 agents that do listings with me and for the team. And so we have, again, 12 agents on the team and then 13, including myself. We have 2.5 admin as well on top of that. And, I still do 10 contacts a day, and I mainly reach out to my past clients and center of influence, the top people.
Yep. And
then, so my goal is to leverage completely out of production by 2022, January.
Got it.
So far, I could see it. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's exciting. What do you think about from a leadership standpoint? The challenge with teams, as you know, is the revolving door or training your competition, because the agent, a lot of times on teams, if you don't have the right culture, you don't have the right leadership, you don't have enough value, people leave teams. They get trained up by the best. I get trained up by John Tsai. I learn all his strategies, tactics, and thank you so much, but I'm going to go do this on my own. So when you think about that, which every team leader should, what is kind of your strategies to build longevity with your team members?
I think it's culture, and I think it's energy. You got to provide value for the agents. Yeah. And I used to train them and try to keep them a little bit small.
Right.
And that was the wrong mindset. It's like, okay, I want to train you so you can leave.
Right.
So you can build your own organization. I don't care. I'm just give, contribute. But I train them so well, and train them to leave that they don't anymore. Yeah. Right. So that's kind of how it's been. But, I make it sound easy and short right now, but I've gone through numerous team management leadership courses. I was in Landmark for that for 2 years. Yep. I read countless leadership books. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy, but I'm where I am today because of what I've learned in the past 5 years building a team. Yeah. My belief on building a team is that, well, first off, I believe that 90% of the industry should be on a team. And if done right, I believe, take the split away, I believe that a team done right, the team member makes way more on the team than they ever could make on their own, ever. And higher quality of life. And I think you share in that vision, because that's what the team provides is, you could go do it on your own and you may make as much as you're making here, but you're going to be John Tsai in 2015, burnt out, ready to quit. Right. And so the team provides administrative support, marketing support, leadership, culture, systems, tools, technology, where the splits are relevant. It's all about that bottom line income and lifestyle. Would you agree? Absolutely. And I think if you, make $100,000 on your own, right, but then you're spending, 40% of that anyways. Yep. So then the team takes care of all that for you and take away the admin costs. That's right. All the marketing costs, and you don't have to work and you can take days off because the team's got your back.
Yep.
Right. So I think it's a no-brainer today. I didn't see that before.
Right.
Before I was like, well, I want to train you to support my income, to support and service my clients. That was the right idea.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're building their business through a team structure. That's right. Servant leadership. I love it.
Their own business.
Their own business. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So we got just a minute or two left. Fast forward. Tell us about the future vision for John Tsai, what you want to build in the future for your real estate business.
Yeah. First is to be able to leverage out of production so I can become the CEO of the team. I'll always keep the team. I love my clients and I love my team members. And I want to be able to help 20,000 agents in another 5 years, and to be able to help them have a life, make a lot of income, right? And just have fun in real estate, and don't make the mistakes that I made. So I'm here to just share what hurdles I went through. And so you don't have to go through them, because I'm willing to share openly with you. And yeah, so I still want to be producing, in 5 years, let's say 400 transactions, but not in production.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. And thank you so much for sharing. I mean, I love your philosophy. I love your vision. I love the way that you articulate and the value you provide to your team and to your group at EXP. So let's end with this. How can people connect with you, learn from you, join your team? Where can they go? Where should they go?
I'm mainly on Instagram. If you want to search me up, it's TSAI Real Estate, all one word. And, I'm on there all the time, almost too much. And I'm also on Facebook, John Tsai EXP Realty. And you can reach me on those two platforms. I'm most readily available there. And I'm just here to contribute, man. So, thank you for having me today. And you've brought such great value to my group, and congratulations on your book as well. I'm going to get that this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, John. And we'll link to all of John's social media and where you guys can connect with John beneath this video once it's uploaded on YouTube. And John, thank you so much for continuing to pour back in the industry. I feel like you and I have got a lot of work to do together in the future, which I'm excited for. So I'm sure we'll be in touch soon, but thank you so much for doing this today.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, John.
All right.